Good morning students, this is my lecture number 1 for class 12th, subject English, poem number 3, Keeping Quiet, composed by Pablo Neruda. Children, this poem Keeping Quiet is taken from your main course book Flamingo. And in this lecture, I'll tell about the poet Pablo Neruda, and then I'll give the complete introduction of the poem to you, and then I'll explain the complete poem stanza wise for your better understanding. We shall begin it with the poet. The poet's name given in the poem is Pablo Neruda, and Pablo Neruda's real name was Neftali Ricardo Reyes Bosalto, and Pablo Neruda was the pen name and later legal name of this famous Chilean poet, diplomat and politician. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in the year 1971. He used to write in green ink, which was his personal symbol for desire and hope. His writings were quite simple, wherein lies their beauty. And this poem was originally written in Spanish, and the essence of this poem is based on introspection, that is, quiet introspection. The poet feels that some soul searching is needed for us to be at peace with ourselves and others as well. And now I'll give you the introduction of the poem. The poem Keeping Quiet, written by Pablo Neruda, talks about the need of maintaining peace and silence. He stresses upon being quiet and harmless to the human beings, animals, and environment. He suggests in order to maintain peace and harmony, it's required to stop and introspect ourselves. Children, for your understanding, I must tell you the rhyme scheme of the poem also. This poem is written in free verse, so it does not follow any rhyme scheme. Now we shall begin with the poem. The poem begins with these two lines. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. The poet here requests everyone to count till 12 in their own mind and to stop for a while. Now the question arises, why has the poet chosen this number 12? Why has he not chosen any other number other than 12? So the answer is, the poet talks about the 12 hours in the clock and the 12 months in an year, and which represent that life is an ongoing process that does not wait or stop for anybody else. Therefore, the poet has chosen number 12, and he says, I want everyone to count till 12 in their mind and to stop for a while, till we count 12. Then, in stanza 1, he says, for once on the face of the earth. Face means surface. Let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. In these lines, the poet wants everyone to stop and calm down. The poet requests everyone not to speak in any language. As we all know that there are different languages spoken in different parts of the earth, which sometimes become a barrier in our way for peace. So he asks people not to speak in any language at all. And he says, let's stop for a second and let's not move our arms so much. Not only this, the poet also wants us not to move arms. By using the word arms, he means the weapons which are used by different countries to raise a war against each other. So basically the poet is demanding peace from all of us. In next stanza, the poet says, it would be an exotic moment, without rush, without engines, we would all be together in a sudden strangeness. First of all, it refers to the moment when we people will be quiet. The poet Pablo Neruda says in these lines that the moment would be a rare situation when there will be no engines working. Here he wants to say that if everything comes to standstill, it would be a very different moment to experience for all of us. If all the engines like the vehicles and the machines stop, then there will be a sudden, strange situation as the world will experience a sudden calmness, strangeness. So the people will not be in a rush to achieve materialistic things one after another. In these lines, he requests the readers to enjoy the exotic moment of our life that would be an unusual moment of our life without any rush, without any sound of engines. And he says, all of us together would go in a sudden calmness. In next stanza, the poet says, fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. So further the poet Pablo Neruda says that the fisherman will also stop and not harm whales in the sea. This means that the poet is urging or requesting everyone not to harm even the animals. Here he gives the example of whales which are being hunted for the purpose of food or trade by the fisherman. He also wants people to calm down so that they can stop and see what they have achieved or lost. For this, he gives us the example of the man who gathers salt in the sea, whose hands are hurt. Here he wants everyone to stop for a while in order to see and feel their achievements and how much they have lost for the sake of attaining such materialistic things. As if you see, the man when goes inside the sea to collect salt, to gather salt, gets his own hands hurt. But he does not stop gathering salt. So he requests everyone to stop for a while and see what you are attaining and what you are losing. In next stanza, the poet talks about those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about their brothers in the shade doing nothing. In these, he talks about the people who are involved in different sorts of wars. He says the people who exploit the green wealth of nature by deforestation or mining or fishing in the deep seas, and the soldiers who use weapons to kill fellow human beings need some time to introspect. They must think about the consequences of their actions. He asks that those people who are preparing green wars means war against environment. Wars with gases means use of poisonous gases in wars. Wars with fire means use of firearms. And he says that if those people in these wars are gaining victory, that victory is of no use, because if that victory is achieved at the cost of innocent survivors, because whenever a war happens, many innocent people are killed in it. And if you win that war, that is not the real victory, because that victory is attained at the cost of innocent lives. So he says that victory is useless if it is achieved at the cost of innocent lives. So victory with no survivors has no meaning. He says so because he says wars and environmental damage will lead to no life on earth. Rather, he wants people to adopt a new approach. He says put on new clothes, means people must adopt a new approach towards life and mankind. He says that you should treat your enemy like brothers and promote peace and harmony in the world. He says that you people have to walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. Doing nothing is associated with your next line. So up to in the shade, the poet says that if the people who are involved in the wars against environment, wars with poisonous gases, wars with firearms, are gaining any victory, but that victory is achieved at the cost of innocent survivors, so that victory has no meaning at all. Then he says, rather we should go with the right approach and a new approach towards life and mankind. We should treat our enemies like brothers, and we must promote peace and harmony in the world. Then the poet says, doing nothing. This is given in the previous line. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. He says, whatever I have told you till now to do to attain peace in your life, that should not be associated with total inactivity. I do not want my readers to misunderstand that I am promoting inactivity. No. He says, what I want should not be confused with total inactivity. In fact, the poet wants to clarify to his readers that when he asks them to stop from saying or doing anything, he doesn't want anyone to become inactive person. Non-active or inactive is a person who doesn't do anything, who doesn't want anyone to become a person without doing anything. Non-active person is the one who remains idle and doesn't do anything at all. Here he simply means that we should stop and see the consequences of our deeds. That if I am doing this job, what would be the result of this action of mine, and how can it harm me and the others also? The poet does not want to see people being killed due to their greed for money and expansion of territories. Further, he says that people are continuously working to achieve their tasks. He says, life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. He says, life is what it is about. It's up to you whether you want to make it or you want to spoil it. Your acts, your daily performed deeds decide how your life would be further. Then the poet says, I want no truck with death. He says, I want people to work continuously for their livelihood. I do not want them to be confused with total inactivity. Because if you want to lead a peaceful life, it is important to put efforts for your survival. Therefore, I want no truck. Truck means association or fear with death. He says we must not be afraid of our death. We must have to achieve the targets of our life without hurting or harming anybody else. So if we are doing the good deeds, then the results will be good. But if we are doing wrong deeds, we cannot expect good results. Further, the poet says, if we were not so single-minded, means selfish, about keeping only our lives moving, and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. Here the poet says, the people who have fear of death and therefore they want to achieve most of the things before they die. Here he requests them to stop for a while and take some moment to relish on what they have achieved till now. Everyone here is living a life in which he wants to achieve various things one after another. But now the poet says, if it is the time to stop and see what has been achieved and should be enjoyed, this will help us skip the sadness which has become so prominent in our lives. The sadness of not enjoying what we have achieved till now and the greed to achieve what next is in the list to be achieved is really very bad. He says, we must learn how to enjoy with the things that we have already achieved, rather thinking about the things which we have not achieved till now. He says, those thoughts of not achieving things would create a sadness in our life, and that sadness would be never ending at all, and in fact that would keep on threatening us for death. In next 3 lines of the poem, the poet writes, perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Now the poet suggests to all the human beings that we should learn a lesson from the earth. During the winters, everything freezes and becomes lifeless. And when season changes and it's the onset of spring season, everything present in nature such as trees, birds, rivers, etc. become alive. So the poet says, once the earth seems dead, but all of a sudden when the season changes, it teaches us a lesson that there is life under apparent stillness. So later it proves to be alive. So there is life under apparent stillness. We must also be still to introspect ourselves that what we are doing and what we should do and how can we improve ourselves. In the last 2 lines, the poet again writes, now I'll count up to 12 and you keep quiet, I'll go. The poet ends up by saying that now he will count up to 12 so that we all may become quiet. Here quiet means to calm down ourselves and move towards the path of peace and harmony. After this, he says, I'll go. He says so as he has conveyed his message to the people and wants them to be left alone to think about it and work in the direction of peace. Now children, I'll tell you the literary devices used in this poem stanza wise. Let's proceed from stanza number 1. Here if you see, there is anaphora. In which line, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second. Now you will ask a question, how there is anaphora? This is a literary device which is used when 2 consecutive lines starting with the same words is there, that is called anaphora. You see, both the lines are starting with let's. Therefore, it is anaphora. Next literary device is alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of a constant sound at the start of 2 or more closely placed words. For example, here it is we will. Given in stanza 1, if you see, that is given we will. So here there is repetition of a consonant sound with the start of 2 or more closely placed words. Now proceed to stanza 2 of the poem. Stanza 2 is, it would be an exotic moment, without rush, without engines, we would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Now you can see in second stanza also there is alliteration where we would all be together. So again there is repetition of 2 consonant sounds. The next alliteration can be seen in sudden strangeness. You see, S is repeated, S is again consonant sound. So there is again alliteration here. And now we will proceed to stanza 3. In stanza 3 also you will find alliteration used in the last line of the stanza 3. In stanza 3, there are 4 lines given. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. His hurt hands. H is repeated thrice. Therefore, it is alliteration used here. And now we will proceed to next stanza. In next stanza, you will see here again it is alliteration. Alliteration is given where those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire. So you see wars with, W is repeated. So here W sound is repeated, and then you see wars with fire, victory with no survivors would put on clean clothes, clean, C, clothes, C. So again there is repetition of C sound. Therefore, here in both the phrases there is alliteration. So these are all the literary devices used by the poet in the poem Keeping Quiet. Now children, we will proceed to homework. On the basis of understanding the poem, all of you are supposed to summarize the whole poem in your words in your Fair English notebook. I hope you will be capable enough to do it in the best possible manner, and I wish you all a very good luck. Thank you.